back to my channel. Welcome back to my live stream. This is Jacob Cast 2024. Um, want to make sure this is on and this is working. Don't want to mess this up. Come on now, damn it. It said that it's on, so hold on. Here we go, it's on. Alright, this is Jacob Cast 2024. Gonna do my live stream. Gonna do it on Friday Night Smackdown tonight. Smackdown different off the air. We will talk about the show. We'll talk about the matches and the segments. We'll talk about the news and rumors in AEW and maybe NXT. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section below. You guys want to see more? This will be a 1 hour and 10-minute live stream. We're gonna talk about SmackDown. We'll talk about maybe NXT Deadline. I think. I know we got some matches on that show. We got Ricky Saints defending the NXT Championship against Obafemi. My video was sponsored by Solomon Author, JD from New York, Fightful Pro Wrestling, and other podcasters and YouTubers I know of. Now, SmackDown was alright, wasn't that bad. Kind of same old shit. They have a big problem with the roster that they don't have hardly any women's division, and they barely have any challenger for Cody Rhodes. There was no Drew McIntyre. We don't know when you're gonna come back. We don't know when Jacob Fatu gonna come back, cause he's out with an injury. Now they didn't announce the matches for SmackDown tomorrow. Next week we got the Terror Twins reunited. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley versus Aleister Black and Zelina Vega in the mid tag team match tomorrow. Ilya Dragunov will be defending his U.S. Championship against Tommaso Ciampa. We'll finally get that. They're still teasing Tama Tonga and Dragunov. I don't know why. They've been teasing it for weeks now. I think we are going to get that pretty soon. And we got Alexa Bliss versus Last Legend. Last Legend making a SmackDown debut next week. Now tomorrow night is NXT Deadline. As I said, Obafemi and Ricky Saints for the NXT Championship. And next week is Saturday Night Main Event on the 13th. Now let's go through what happened on SmackDown tonight. I think the show opened up with Cody Rhodes. He came out. There was Drew McIntyre. Now Cody Rhodes came out, cut a pretty short promo, calling out Drew McIntyre, wants to face him. He begged Nick Aldis to bring back Drew McIntyre. After Cody got done speaking in the opening segment, he was out in the parking lot, initiating a parking lot brawl with Drew McIntyre. So these two are still feuding. They're still going at it. I don't know why. I think we're all sick and tired of the feud and want to move on. How many times are we going to keep giving up Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes? We're not getting there at Saturday Night Main Event because Cody Rhodes went backstage and said he will battle the NXT champion, whoever wins, at NXT Deadline, Obafemi or Ricky Saints. I think Ricky Saints should retain. I don't want to see Obafemi and Cody Rhodes. And who wins that match? Does Oba beat Cody or did Cody beat Oba? I don't want to see that. I'd rather see Ricky Saints and Cody Rhodes. They do have history in AEW. I don't know if Oba needs it. I think it's to come to the main roster. Since he was on SmackDown, we could see him. We got another open challenge with Ilya Dragunov defending against Carmelo Hayes in a very good match. Tommaso Ciampa forced Dragunov. He forced Dragunov trying to win over Carmelo Hayes. A very good match. Hayes is very good. Dragunov, I'm kind of over the open challenge, but that's the only good thing on this show. Ilya Dragunov is so great, he's doing alright with the title. He's gonna continue to feud with Ciampa next week for the title. And I think we're gonna get Tama Tonga up next. At least they have a solid mid card. At least they have people chasing the U.S. title, but there's no one chasing the WWE title. Just Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, same old shit. And they barely have a women's division to see who's gonna go after Jay Cardo title. And the tag team titles, the YSS aren't doing shit with those titles right now. Besides feuding with the MRT, they're known as for. We got Nia Jax. I think we had Alexa Bliss and Kairi Sane. I think Alexa won, and then Nia Jax and Lash Legend came out and attacked them. So I guess Lash Legend and Nia Jax are gonna be teaming up. I don't know why they're still a team. Is that what we're doing with Lash Legend? She's not even that good. Jay Cardo scored a dominant victory over Alba Fire. I don't think she defended the title. I think it was just a match. It might have been a squash. Bailey to battle Sol Ruka at Saturday's main event. So that's 3 matches. Because the main event, Gunther defeated LA Knight. He'll face John Cena in the main event of Saturday's main event. Cody Rhodes versus the winner of the NXT champion, whether it's Ober or Ricky. Bailey battles Sol Ruka. That's 3 matches on Saturday's main event. We need one more. It might be a match from Raw. We'll have to wait and see. And also, we got the MRT's Solo, his bloodline. Again, they brawl with the YSS. So they're going to be feuding. Solo went out, called out there. He wants to take the tag team title, take everything away from them. Oh boy, I can't wait for this. 2 dead fasting that no one gives a shit about. I might as well show y'all some of the podcasters here. Alright. We got No DQ.
He demanded that Drew McIntyre be reinstated. He said that McIntyre crossed the line by getting on Cody's tour bus where his family is. He called McIntyre WWE's cockroach. And that was the segment. It was short, to the point, a little bit different from the norm, so I liked it. We'll see what happens with McIntyre when he officially comes back. Cody has something else in the meantime. We'll get to that in just a few moments. We had a video promo from Damian Priest, and he revealed that Rhea Ripley has his back against Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. A mixed tag team match will be taking place on next week's Smackdown. Backstage, Tommaso Ciampa still wants a United States title match with Ilya Dragunov, but Carmelo Hayes notified him that he's next in line. He called Ciampa a jackass, and we had Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes for the U.S. title. Am I the only one that thinks this jackass catchphrase is not working? I don't know. Feels very forced to me. But anyways, back and forth match between Carmelo and Ilya Dragunov. Interference. James and Julia showing he's got a spot at Saturday night's main event. She will be facing Sol Ruka, who came in and had a little confrontation with Bailey, and that will be another main roster versus. I give it 5 out of 10, very average. I put it slightly above Dynamite, but not by much. Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers, and
I bet this is pretty easy to assemble.
Alright, I'll show you guys Denise Salcedo.
Does anybody have an elf? Oof, not for me, but. Hey there!
you know, in their mind. From the top rope.
No, he's gonna go for another one.
Gunther's not done just yet. It's that Smackdown. I think it was the Friday before SummerSlam. Friday before SummerSlam, where he flipped it back the other direction,
it's been all systems go. And I like the idea of a tournament. Look, I don't think the tournament itself has been like amazing, but it's been a good vehicle to set up his last match. And Gunther always felt like the right opponent. Whichever way it goes, because you can reestablish him as that monster that he was during that Intercontinental title reign, and maybe that is the way it goes, considering, you know, it is sort of par for the course to go out on your back, I guess, if you will. But then now I'm kind of thinking, do I want to see John Cena lose again, or do I want to see John Cena win that last match, right? Like, after that was the thought that was going through my head as LA Knight was tapping, was, it makes sense. Gunther wins, Gunther looks great, John Cena doesn't need to win his last match. But do I want to watch him lose his last match? I don't know if I do.
That was going to be my follow-up question, Robin, because I actually want John Cena to also win his last match. I'm sorry, I'm not even thinking about this in terms of, does it make sense to the booking, blah, blah, blah. I'm not thinking about it logically. I'm actually thinking it from, like, my heart. Like, my heart says John Cena should win his last match. Like, I'm not thinking about this in terms of, okay, well, we all know that given the fact that Gunther won the entire tournament, the whole point is, hey, you go into this match with John Cena, and what a massive moment to be the person who defeats John Cena, right? Like, that was the whole point. Like, everybody was saying, whoever gets this last match, whoever gets this final moment is going to be such a big deal, right? To me, it's not just the pin, though. The fact that you're already having the match, that is huge. I just would prefer it if John Cena did win his match. And again, I don't mind Gunther defeating him either. I'm not going to say I mind that whatsoever. But it's this fairy tale, happy ending, a way to say goodbye. Either way, it's going to hit, right? Because it's like, even if John Cena loses, it's going to feel like that Shakespearean tragedy, right? Where you're like, I'm so sad, but also it feels so good to feel so sad, right? Like, it's a little bit of a complicated feeling. I want to see John Cena defeat Gunther, but I don't think it'll happen. I think John Cena is going to want to give to Gunther the opportunity to say, hey, man, I retired John Cena.
Yeah, and it's tough, because, it's hard to not want that, like, dopamine hit of dun 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 at the end there, and either way, even if he loses, you'll get that, and the whole, like, but if you're asking me right now, I want John Cena to win. maybe.
Okay, we're agreeing. We're in agreement.
Maybe with more time, I'll change my mind. And in fact, I remember at MSG, I was thinking I want Gunther to win. Like, yeah, Gunther retires John Cena. But now that it's so close, I do want John Cena to win. Asking me today.
Okay, now before we continue on with the conversation, though, I do want to get your thoughts on the matchup itself with Gunther and LA Knight, because I do feel like this was a pretty decent matchup, man. Like, I did not hate this match whatsoever. They gave LA Knight a whole lot. I thought that Gunther carried him to a really good performance there. I liked what he saw, and across the board, Gunther did not have one bad match in this tournament. I agree with you when you said the entire tournament hasn't been extravagant, but all the matches that Gunther had with Javon, with Carmelo, with Solo Sikoa, gave him his best match, and now LA Knight, like, to me, he's 4-4. Like, he's been killing it.
That match with Javon Evans was awesome. That was legitimately great. Yeah, no, I thought this was pretty good. There was one little, looked like they might have been calling a spot that...
Oh, yeah, the part where it was, like, to the right of the camera. Like, we were seeing him kind of, like, look like he was getting punches in the head.
that took me out for a second, I'm not going to lie. But overall, it was definitely a good match, and the couple of good, like, near falls. LA Knight got his finisher off with the rope spot, and LA Knight kicked out of the powerbomb after the German suplex, I believe, so made him look pretty strong. But even still, anytime you submit somebody, I think it makes you look stronger, and that's what Gunther did to get the win. And I still think, like, what do you do if LA Knight wins that match? What do you do with LA Knight and John Cena, right? Like, I don't see it having the same level of variability in the sense of either John Cena can conquer this monster Gunther in his last match, or it makes sense that they continue to put Gunther in that position. I just don't, a promo battle might have worked between LA Knight and John Cena, but I don't really know what you do with it.
It's the end game. Like, what's the end game? Like, if LA Knight would have been the one to go into this match with John Cena and defeat him, what was the end game there for LA Knight? Whereas with Gunther, people are like, okay, I want to see him with Brock, I want to see him with Braun, I want to see him with all of these other people that have been thrown out there for Gunther and matches they want to see. And now he's going to go in, not only if he does defeat John Cena, he's going to be able to say, hey, I defeated John Cena and I defeated Goldberg in their retirement. Like, I retired both of these guys. Like, that's pretty massive. So they are building up the aura of Gunther, which is what I do love because I'm a Gunther fan, man. All right, let's go ahead and get into some super chats here. We got Fredo here who says, if LA Knight taps, we need a wellness check on Sancho, who loves LA Knight, even though I keep telling you guys, thank you so much. We got the Juan G Show. What is up, Juan? He says, Cena, my final opponent isn't going to be handpicked. It's going to be hard earned. Triple H, you want me to handpick Gunther? Well, you got him. We had been wondering, Robin, when they were going to finally start to make announcements about the WWE Showdown matches with the WWE versus NXT Showcase matches. And I was waiting, and I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, okay, we're winding down the time here. When are we going to find out? They kind of got to it very quick. It seems like they're just having these backstage interactions. You're going to go with this person, you're going to go with that person, and it's happening very fast. We found out today that Cody is going to be facing the winner of Ricky versus Oba at NXT Deadline. I originally thought that there was a chance Oba would be taking the title from Ricky. Now that I saw Cody basically say this, now I do think Ricky will retain and will face Cody only because I know that Cody and Ricky obviously are friends. So I'm thinking that's like, you know, the rub, the moment. So maybe I can see Cody sort of picking Ricky for that moment. Bailey and this is exactly the kind of match that I wanted for Sol Ruka when I thought about her being on this card. Bailey is the perfect person for her. I'm so happy so far with the first two matches that they've announced. What do you think?
Yeah, and it was cool. I mean, I thought it was well done tonight. You know, where you had the Cody come in there, where they're like wondering why they're there, and then you had a little spice to that.
Thank you, Frank. We got Vince here, Vince9212, who says, did you catch Cena on Joe Rogan putting over content creators and how they work popping up like on social media, because a bunch have been popping up for John Cena, but I didn't see this one here, so I'm gonna have to look at that, because if anybody recognizes hard work, it's John Cena. John Cena knows a lot about hard work, so the fact that he recognizes it for content creators, that's really fucking awesome to have that, because everybody usually shits on content creators, Robin. They usually just think like, oh, you just turn your camera on and you go for it, right? Sure, but there's a lot more that goes into that, so it's nice to have that like nod of appreciation from John Cena for content creation.
Yeah, who was it that said it? Did they run it today? I remember somebody saying like John Cena isn't just this mirage of hard work. It's actually like, you know, you see it behind the scenes. So he's given a tip of the cap, and yeah, it's not like a whole like look at us or look at me doing it. But when you eat what you kill, and your brain is always on, you know, that can take a toll too.
Oh, amen. Yes, it does. Thank you so much, Vince, for this generous super chat and for letting us know as well. I'm gonna seek that out, by the way. If anybody sees the clip, tag me. Tag me so I can see it. If not, I'll go skimming through it. Thank you, Vince. We got Sheldon Jackson here. It says, Denise, huge final resolution updates. Stacks defeated Steve Maclin to become TNA International Champion and bring another TNA title to NXT. Because Channing Stacks Lorenzo really hasn't had much going on the show. I think once we really get, you know, deep into that, I think that would be sick, man. Like if we got, like for example, if we got like a Roman babyface versus CM Punk heel run for WrestleMania, like that shit would be lit, man. I would love to see something like that. Like switch it up, man. Make it different. Make it stand out.
So you think it's Roman Punk more than Roman Cody?
Yeah, I don't think they should do Roman Cody again right now. It's too soon. You don't think like, isn't it not too soon? Like we just saw that. Like we saw that twice. Do we got to do it again?
But it works. I don't know. I was kind of thinking like Punk and Braun Breaker. Though they did start the feud to that pretty quickly. So,
Right.
You know, so maybe that happens before then. Or maybe they triple threaded up. But they just did
That
a
could be
triple
a
threat last
possibility.
year, too. Yeah.
I'm going for babyface Roman versus heel Punk. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm putting it out there. I'm manifesting it. All right. By the way, we got CD Fear 13. Thank you so much. Says, what do you think of Cena? Think of Cena will be opening Saturday night's main event? Oh no, definitely not. No, he'll definitely be the main event for sure. For sure. It would have to be. It would be weird if it wasn't like that, right?
Especially when it's called Saturday night's main event. You know, like you can't have the main event be first. I mean, a lot of times the first match can be the best spot, to be honest with you. I mean, like, it is the old saying, you either want to be first or last, right? Like, those are the two best spots for sure. So sometimes you can get a show and just set it off with that first match, but it would be wrong in John Cena's retirement match to go on first.
For sure. It would be crazy. I'd be like, whoa, what are you doing? Thank you so much, CD Fair. We got Bob Ross Jr. here who says, I don't know if you saw it, but John Cena's dad said that he didn't want Gunther to be his son about this Cody Drew McIntyre feud than I did a while ago. It definitely heated up for sure. All right, U.S. Open title challenge. Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes. Robin, I love the chemistry these two guys have. They have had incredible matches in the past on NXT. I was very happy when I got to see them do this matchup. Unfortunately, we ended up seeing what's-his-face Tommaso Ciampa get involved, so he kind of screws Carmelo Hayes. Ilya Dragunov gets the win, and will go on to face Tommaso Ciampa next week. But how have you been feeling about Ilya Dragunov since his return?
Look, I mean, I think that the setup is right for him. He's known for what he does in the ring, so it makes sense to take that handoff from Sami Zayn, not have to do much on the stick or anything like that. But to me, it was more about Carmelo Hayes. It feels like he's got a little energy around him right now. I don't know about the Ciampa thing or where we're going there, but I do think, you know, Carmelo Hayes came in, NXT, a lot of hype. I think, was he the first pick for the Smackdown draft? He was up there. And then it was, what's going on with him? He gets the thing with the Miz, which helped a little bit, and it feels like he might be starting to find his stride. So I took more out of that aspect, actually, just a little bit of the heat and energy that seems to be around Carmelo Hayes, and I think those two definitely had a good match because it would be hard for them not to.
By the way, we got Sammy Sawan Booney says, John Cena said on Jimmy Kimmel he will be on the first match next Saturday. What? I did not see that. That would be crazy. I don't know that that's like a good idea. I don't know. I'm sorry. I think it should be the end. I think it would be weird if it was the first. I can't believe he said that. I didn't see that.
I didn't
What?
Either.
That's crazy. I'm sorry. That's crazy. Thank you, Sammy. We got Micah Butler here. Micah, thank you so much for the super chat. Says Solo Sikoa killed his promo tonight. He's also the best talker out of the brothers. I don't feel that strongly about that, but I will give Solo Sikoa though credit for his match with Gunther. Was awesome. Thank you.
Solo's pretty good on the mic. He's got that character down. He's good. You know, I do think. I'll give him some credit in that regard. I'm a little higher on Solo Sikoa than you are, I think.
I did give him credit, though, for his match with Gunther. Okay. I gotta give him that, all right? I gotta give the due where it's at. Thank you so much, Micah. Alrighty, let's go ahead and dive into some of the women's stuff. Kind of a quick one here today. We ended up seeing Alexa.
Gunther sends a warning to Cena. You will tap out. Here's Joe Cronin.
Hang yourself. I hope someone breaks in your.
I want to shoot myself now.
Hope someone breaks in your house and kills you with them.
If you're an illegal alien, this runway is your future.
Right,
because you're headed home.
Hold on.
I'm Christy Nome, the United States.
It's good. And he said no
Netflix by Warner Brothers.
Lights go out. They show up on the.
There's the other podcaster, Steven Larson. Here's Fightful.
See what we just did out there? We're dangerous.
That was crazy. And you know what's even worse? I was like, man, I believe you. You're right. I shouldn't have come up on you. You could have been scared, and you can't be held for your responsibility for your actions at that point.
I gotta say, that popped the shit out of me. And in that moment, I'm like,
It multiple times.
now tournament that has been...
About to show you some marker.
I think part of the problem with LA Knight fans is that they just constantly let themselves down in situations where they should know better. LA Knight was never winning this match tonight. He never stood a chance. In fact, it could have been anybody on the other side of the ring. It could have been Penta. It could have been Javon Evans. It could have, if the tournament was a little bit different, they did that in the finals. It could have been anybody. All they were doing was fighting for the right to lose to Gunther, which is what happened tonight. John Cena will wrestle Gunther on Saturday night's main event. He will be John Cena's last ever opponent. December 13th. We're now T-minus 8 days away. They had a good match in the main event. In fact, Gunther had all the best matches in this tournament. 4 matches, all 4 of them really good. You may rank them differently, but he was the standout performer, really, of what was otherwise a very underwhelming tournament. That should have been a lot more exciting than it ended up being. But thankfully, we had Gunther. And like I said, tonight they had a good match in the main event, but the outcome was just preordained. And not just because Dave Meltzer reported it several weeks ago, but because it should have been obvious once you looked at who was in this tournament, who was going to be the last man standing at the end. So now, the question turns to what happens next weekend, because when this show was over tonight, Gunther made it very clear. He looked into the camera, and not only did he say he's going to beat John Cena, he said he's going to make John Cena do the one thing that John Cena has never done since he turned babyface all those many years ago. Tap out. It goes against his entire mantra. It goes against everything that John Cena stands for, right? Never give up. He has promised to make John Cena give up. That is the story now. Going into his final match next weekend, is John Cena going to actually give up in his final match? Does he get to ride off into the sunset with a win? Does Gunther repeat his performance from July when he retired Bill Goldberg, his favorite wrestler of all time, by the way, on Saturday night's main event? Do we have a repeat here at the end of this year? That is now the story as we head into next weekend. The other thing also is tying into next weekend. Cody Rhodes has a big match on that show, but Cody Rhodes also wants Drew McIntyre reinstated. He was very clear in that demand tonight, and there was no decision made on the part of Nick Aldis as far as how that's going to go, although I have a sense of what's going to happen here when we may be seeing this match. But beyond his request for reinstatement of Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes also personally made the announcement tonight that he is going to be wrestling on Saturday night's main event next weekend against whoever walks out of NXT Deadline tomorrow night as the NXT champion, whether it be Ricky Saints or Oba Femi, both of whom made a cameo appearance backstage tonight on Smackdown. One of those two men will be wrestling, obviously non-title, the WWE champion next weekend, which is a huge spot for either one of them to be in. I have a sense of which one of them I think it's going to be and which one I think it should be. But at least now we're finally, I mean, we kind of have to, we're a week away, finally getting some announcements, filling out the rest of that card next week. I don't know how many matches there's going to be. It's the Triple H era, so probably 4. But we also have another match, a women's match, WWE versus NXT. That is now official for next weekend. I'll tell you guys what that is. We had another United States Championship Open Challenge tonight after we missed out on one last week with Ilya Dragunov. We had a showdown between the Wyatts and the MFTs, which has been teased for a while. And then if you watched the end of Smackdown last week, you saw Uncle Howdy lay out Solo Sikoa with a Sister Abigail, so you knew that we would have some sort of follow-up to that this week, and we did. They still have no earthly idea what to do with Jade Cargill, as the women's division on this show continues to suffer and limp into 2026 as we head into 3 hours of SmackDown. And I look back at this show, we had 2 matches that are really worth going out of your way to watch if you were going to check out SmackDown. The opening match and the closing match. So the U.S. title match was good. The main event was good. Everything else on this show, very average. Very average fare from SmackDown tonight. Only a few weeks left before we head back to 3 hours on Friday nights. I sure do hope they got a good plan, especially with the women's division. They need something. This is your Friday night SmackDown review. It is December 5th, 2025. I am the Solid Monster. Thank you for rounding out your week with me. I've been hearing from you guys all week since you got your Spotify Wrapped. And I don't know if what's YouTube calling? I know YouTube is doing a similar thing now. You guys have sent me some stuff. I don't think it's called Wrapped. But the Sound Off has been atop many a list, and I appreciate that. I love that. I love seeing that, and hopefully we will be able to carry all that into 2026. You will join me then as well. But for now, hit the like button on this video. 400 likes is the minimum. To be the booker tonight, we do have a bonus goal going on in the chat as well. Super chats are open. I'll be reading your comments a little bit later on here in the stream. And we are getting close. We are inching towards 90,000 subscribers here on the channel. So a little push towards 90K at the beginning of the new year would be very cool. Sheriff of Patty says a top 3 podcast for him this year. Yes, but where in the top 3 do we fall? Thank you, brother. Let's start from the top here. We open with highlights of Survivor Series and shots of various people arriving to the building as we do every single week, including LA Knight, who was wearing a cowboy hat since they were in Texas tonight. And we also had a shot of Gunther walking backstage. Of course, that was our main event tonight. Then we cut to Drew McIntyre pulling up to the building backstage in an SUV. And he gets out, and he is greeted by, I can't even call it a welcome party, it's the unwelcome party of Nick Aldis and a bunch of security geeks. And Aldis reminds Drew that you are still suspended. The only reason you were allowed to compete in War Games is because Paul Heyman found a little loophole. But now that War Games is over, you're gone. You don't belong here. And Drew tried to plead his case. Aldis wasn't having any of it. Told him to get back in his car and leave. So Drew relented. Drew said, the only people you're punishing here, you're not punishing me, you're punishing the fans. So he gets back in the car. But when he gets back in the car, Cody Rhodes is in the, I guess, the passenger seat, or he reached into the car from the passenger side. And he begins to attack McIntyre. He starts gouging at his eye. Cody was still very irate over McIntyre attacking him on his bus a few weeks ago. So Drew made his exit after that. The camera followed a very angry Cody Rhodes through the backstage area as he marched towards the gorilla position, through gorilla, and out to the ring. And they played his music, but he was in no mood to pause for the woe or celebrate or anything like that. He made a beeline for the ring. He wanted a microphone. He said McIntyre broke an unwritten rule by invading his tour bus. That's the place where his wife sleeps and his children play. He called McIntyre WWE's resident cockroach and pointed out that Drew's never beaten him, but he may have been the first to break him. So he begged Nick Aldis, please, Nick, reinstate him. Reinstate Drew McIntyre so that he could do what everyone does to cockroaches. He's going to stomp him out. And the fans cheered, and that was it. It was short, it was sweet, it was a nice fire here from Cody. Selling the anger. He didn't seem that angry to me, though, when he showed up at War Games and was wrestling with Drew McIntyre. But it's almost like that didn't even happen. This was like the follow-up to the angle on the bus from a few weeks ago. But he was very angry and very, just full of piss and vinegar here in this segment. So they're going to do Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre again, which supposedly was the original plan for Survivor Series, until Jacob Fatu got hurt. That's how Austin Theory got bounced out of a War Games match. And they added Cody and Drew to the War Games teams, and that made sense because they needed people. Right? You're going to have 5-on-5, you need people. So now they're going to do at least one more match with Cody and Drew. And there is literally no reason to run this match back again unless Drew McIntyre is leaving with the WWE Championship. There's no reason. Like, there's no reason to do this match unless they are doing a title change. That's it. So the question is when? Now, you got Saturday night's main event next week, and obviously it's not happening there, nor should it. Cody's already got a match, but even if he didn't, doing Cody and Drew on that show, I feel, especially if there is going to be a title change, I feel like that deserves its own spotlight. It would be overshadowed by John Cena. Next weekend is about John Cena. We're going to get some other matches, but it's about Cena. And that's one of the reasons why, people were like, oh man, if Sheamus didn't get hurt, Sheamus should have won the tournament. And it should have been Cena and Sheamus had Cena kept the Intercontinental title, right? And they had, in their minds, they had booked this scenario where you could do one more Cena-Sheamus match, and Sheamus finally wins the IC title, but he wins it from John Cena, right? What a big moment for him. And I'm like, no, because it's not about him. It's about Cena. When Sheamus finally gets that moment, I don't want it to be on a night that's dedicated and focused on John Cena. I want Sheamus to have that moment to himself. Whether it's WrestleMania or whatever event it may be. So as much as I would have loved to have seen them have one more match, that to me would have been the wrong, venue for that to happen. But as far as the match with Cody and Drew, we know CM Punk is defending the World Championship against Braun Breaker on that first Raw here in Brooklyn, that first Raw of the new year, January 5th. So to me, it would make sense that if Raw has one big championship match to open 2026, then so should SmackDown. That's probably how they see it. So I'm guessing that the first SmackDown of the new year will probably be where Cody wrestles Drew. Where Drew is reinstated, that's going to be his first match back. So, what is that, January 2nd, I believe, is the first WWE show of the new year. I think that would be the likely place where we get that championship match between those two. And again, I feel very strongly about Drew McIntyre needs to win the title, because if not, I don't want to see the match. I don't want to see him just go in there and lose again. I've already seen it multiple times. I don't see what's gained from doing it again. If he wins the title, it's like, okay, well then what? Sure, he's probably not going to have it for very long. I don't even care at this point. He just needs to win it. He just needs a win. Right, he was part of the winning team at War Games, but I mean, come on. 4 other guys on the team. But again, in my mind, there's literally no reason to do the match unless they are planning on doing a title change. Plain and simple. That's it. New WWE Champion, Drew McIntyre. And then you can get the belt back on Cody in time for him to do whatever it is that he's going to do at WrestleMania. I don't even care what it is. Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, and Candice LeRae were backstage talking among themselves. Ciampa is still gunning for Ilya Dragunov in the U.S. title. When Carmelo Hayes walked right past them, but he stopped in his tracks because he overheard them talking about this. And he said that he had next for the U.S. title. And just based on the look on Ciampa's face, you knew that probably was not going to end very well for Carmelo Hayes. We got yet another video promo from Damian Priest. I feel like that's all we've been getting from him, is just a bunch of video promos. How many of these have we seen back and forth with him and Aleister Black? Not a lot of action recently. But he said that if Black got to bring his family in the form of Zelina Vega in, that it's only fair that Priest brings his family in. And so who walks in but Rhea Ripley, face mask and all. She walks in from the shadows, cuts a little promo here, talks about the Terror Twins facing off with Black and Vega on the show next week, and that is official. It will be Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest taking on Aleister Black and Zelina Vega in a mixed tag team match next week on the show. How do I view this? I view this as Damian Priest has gone so cold since coming to SmackDown that they have resorted to bringing in Rhea Ripley, who's always super over wherever she is, to help warm him back up. When Priest initially left the Judgment Day, they were doing a lot of this Terror Twin stuff. He and Rhea were together a lot on TV, and they were are super over. Rhea continues to be super over. Damian Priest is not. Damian Priest, the trail has gone cold for Damian Priest on Friday nights. So that's how I read this. I saw Rhea step in. I said, I see what we're doing here. He needs a little help. So let's bring Rhea in to help give him the rub and try to get him back on the right track. That's what I think is going on here. We had another open challenge with Ilya Dragunov defending the United States Championship after taking last week off. His opponent, Carmelo Hayes, who I believe wrestled Sami Zayn earlier on in these open challenges for the U.S. title in a losing effort. The match got off to a quick start on the top rope. Hayes was stunned, which opened him up for a big boot from Dragunov, which sent him crashing down to the floor outside. He was selling that he tweaked his knee upon landing. The match came back and should ultimately be to get that title on him. Unless they're going to call up someone from NXT. I mean, I had floated previously the idea of like an Obafemi getting the call up and then having just like a dominant run as the United States champion. Failing something like that, Carmelo Hayes really could use a solid run with that top mid-card title on that show, and hopefully, he'll be able to get something like that. But the thing that I also realize here, I'm watching this, and I realize it's been many weeks, it feels to me like they have just scrapped the Hayes and Miz feud. We never even got a match. I just feel like it's been weeks since we've had any sort of interaction with them or forward movement. Hayes is sort of off doing his own thing. Miz, we saw Miz on later in the show. He was, bitching about not being booked next weekend. No mention of Melo. So, I mean, they could always circle back around to it, but it just feels to me like that may have been scrapped. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to tell you that I'm terribly sad about it, but it was something that was built up over a period of months, so it's kind of surprising that we haven't gotten anything new from it. In the back, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, they were interviewed about War Games. They talked about how it made their bond even stronger, but now it's time to get back to the business of regaining their women's tag team titles. And it would begin tonight when Alexa Bliss beats Kairi Sane. Elsewhere, Kathy Kelly interviewed LA Knight about his match with Gunther later tonight, coming off 2 matches in this tournament with mystery opponents. Right, the first one was against Matt Cardona. Then Sheamus got hurt, had to be replaced, so he ended up with The Miz. So he actually knows his opponent now, well in advance tonight. He said he doesn't care about the opponents that he's faced before. The one thing that matters is beating John Cena to cement his legacy. Gunther was standing in his way, and Gunther is going to get dropped on his head later tonight like all the rest. LA Knight is very good at cutting promos and letting us know all the terrible things he's going to do to people and then go out there and he doesn't really deliver. And after a while, especially when you're a babyface, you're making all these promises that you can't keep. It's not good. It's not good. You start to develop a reputation for being that guy who can't go out there and finish the job. And I feel like that's where we've been. Actually, that's where we've been for a while. But that's where we are now with LA Knight. We had Alexa Bliss against Kairi Sane outside the ring in the men's division for the tag team titles. Instead of having 2 separate sets of championships where individually the divisions are not as strong as they would be if they were paired together. That's my issue with the tag team titles on the men's side right now. Smackdown had a booming division earlier in the year, and now that's gone cold. Raw, I enjoyed the work that we've seen from AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. Love that finish against the New Day in their match on Monday night, but I can't sit here and tell you that there's a whole lot of competition in that division either. So it's the one time you'll ever hear me say this, that I wish the men's tag team titles were treated as the women's tag team titles are in this company. That would be nice. We go backstage. Cody Rhodes meets with Nick Aldis. And he had calmed down from earlier. He told Nick, all right, I've calmed down. Aldis asked him, are you ready to do this? And so they walked into Aldis's office, and we see that standing there in the office is the NXT champion, Ricky Saints, and his challenger, his number one contender at Deadline tomorrow night. Yeah, because I figure the match is going to be Cody against Ricky. I don't think Oba is winning the championship back tomorrow. So I think they're going to get their shot. I think that's the match. It's also a great hook for Deadline tomorrow, right? They had a chance to promote that show here on SmackDown and let you know that not only is the NXT Championship on the line in that match, but there's another huge hook now. And there's something also very tangible on the line beyond the belt as far as that match is concerned now, because the winner is going on to wrestle on what is going to be a pretty damn big show in front of what should be a sold-out crowd in a big building next weekend. So I think it's a good hook. It also, to me, has Drew McIntyre run-in written all over it. Not that there's any shame in being pinned by the WWE Champion, if you're a Ricky Saints or an Oba Femi. But if Drew gets involved in this match and the match gets thrown out, or if there's a DQ or whatever, like, it's a way to protect whoever the NXT star is by not having to take a direct loss. And it fits the story, right? Cody was trying to gouge that man's eyes out of his skull tonight. He's the one demanding that Drew be reinstated. Drew's going to want a piece of him after what he did tonight. It only makes sense that we might see him in DC next week. So, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing what other matches they come up with. You know, Cody against Oba would be great, too. I'm a big Oba Femi fan. I think he's going to be huge on the main roster. I sit here and tell you, it would be hard for Triple H to fuck him up, but he's fucked up some other things, so never say never. It's like challenge accepted. I think he'll do well, though. On the main roster, I think that, Shawn Michaels will go to Triple H and say, look, you better not fuck this up, pal. So, I love Oba Femi. Cody and Oba would be great, too, but here's the problem with that. The problem with that is that would mean that Oba Femi is going to win back the NXT Championship tomorrow. Oba Femi should not be winning the NXT Championship back, because there is no reason for Oba Femi to continue to stay on NXT. And if he wins the title back, the implication there is that he's going to be sticking around for at least a few more months. SmackDown could really use someone like Oba Femi right now. So my hope is that he does not win the championship back. And yes, it would be 2 straight losses to Ricky Saints, but so what? Right? We've seen this before, where guys do a bunch of jobs on their way out before they get called up to the main roster. And I hope that's what is planned for Oba Femi here, because for him to just win the NXT belt back, to me it's going backwards. When with him, you should be going forwards. Right? Forward. I said forwards. I meant forward. Forwards is not a real word. That doesn't really make sense, does it? No, it doesn't. But that's where Oba Femi should be going. So, that's a huge match, though, for next weekend. We have the WWE Women's Champion, Jade Cargill. She's moving forwards as well. Against Alba Fire, who had Chelsea Green in her corner, the Women's United States Champion, the AAA Mixed Tag Team Champion. She had her belts with her. And this is just, I'm sorry, it's depressing to watch. It's just depressing to watch. That segment on SmackDown last week, by the way, was just a pile of garbage. I have no idea why they thought that segment was something that had to be booked. I think it was completely stupid. So now we have Jade against Alba. Non-title here. Green got on the apron at the beginning of the match. That gave Alba an opening to hit Jade with a dropkick. Outside the ring, Kiana James shows up and got Chelsea's attention. Julia was standing behind her, the former Women's United States Champion, if you forgot who this woman is. And so she attacked Chelsea. Nobody cared. There was barely any reaction to any of this. She was fighting and brawling with Chelsea up the aisleway again. Nobody really cared. Back in the ring, Jade caught the distracted Alba with a pump kick and then hit Jaded and won the match at about 90 seconds. These segments are somehow getting worse. I don't know how that's possible. This sucked. This is a complete and utter waste of time if this is the best they could come up with for these women. That includes Chelsea, by the way. Chelsea and Julia and Jade. Everybody involved here. I hated this. This was a short match, more of an angle probably than a match, but it was a short match that does nothing productive for any of the women involved. Nothing. No challengers for Jade have really been established. She's in mid-card hell right now. Now they're teasing, her and B-Fab already wrestled, but she had a run-in later on with B-Fab. And then Michin showed up. So they're building to Jade and Michin now. So they have Jade running through the mid-card on this show. None of whom are over. Because none of them have really either been given the opportunity to be established, or they just haven't gotten over in some cases. Simple as that. But that's what they have Jade doing right now. And the thing is, like, some of these mid-card talents that she's working with, they're heel mid-card talents. Jade is a heel. So, like, they're out there, and again, it's hard for people to really get invested if it's somebody like... People, I think, like Chelsea to a degree because she's entertaining, but she's a heel. Right? So you have her working with the Secret Hervis these last few weeks, or you're beefing with them, and it's like... Who are the people supposed to really be invested in or caring about or trying to get behind here and rally behind? It's just, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, are they building to a United States Championship versus WWE Championship match between Jade and Chelsea? I don't know what the end goal here is of this. And Julia, I mean, what can I say about Julia? That hasn't already been said. I mean, no one cares. A woman goes out there to crickets. And it is completely depressing. No reaction for her. She lost her championship, and instead of going on the warpath, she went silent. And that silence, he and the MFTs were going to handle the Sami Zayn problem, and they took his ass out. He talked about how they can finally move forward now that Sami was done and dusted, which brought him to the Wyatt Six. Solo said Uncle Howdy was watching him and his family, but he was doing the same to Howdy and the Wyatts. He introduced himself and his family. He said that the Wyatts held something that belonged to them, the WWE Tag Team titles, which I had briefly forgot they even had. Don't judge me. When he said that, I said, oh, that's right. That's right. The Wyatts have the Tag Team titles. I forgot there for a second. He said that everything that was his, he pointed up at the heavens, implying Bray Wyatt without saying Bray Wyatt. He said everything that was his, which was given to Uncle Howdy, it was going to soon be Solo's. And he was going to show the world that Howdy did not deserve the Wyatt name. All he needs to do is bully. The other MFTs at that point exited the ring. Solo was in the ring all by himself. The lights went out. We got a Wyatt video interruption. And then we saw the Wyatts on the apron, all except Uncle Howdy, who was in the ring standing behind Solo. So we got a face-off between the two, which erupted into fisticuffs. All the other family members got in the ring and started brawling. Nikki Cross, I think, jumped on, I want to say, JC Mateo's back, and he flung her off violently into the ropes. And all the members were cleared from the ring until only two remained, the two giants of their respective families, Tala Tonga and Eric Rowan. So we got a face-off between the two of them. Rowan got the better of the exchange. He booted Tala Tonga out of the ring. And then they all stared menacingly at each other, unable to get back into the ring and continue their brawl because of the invisible force field between them. And that is how the segment came to an end. Well, look, what can I say? It's no Wyatt family Shield feud. But as a mid-card feud here between these two factions, it's fine. It's fine. And you know what? It's fine because it keeps them, especially the MFTs, away from the main event scene. Right? They are where they belong. They are where they should be right now on the card. And so they need another group to feud with. What other group really is there on SmackDown for them to work with, if not the Wyatts?
When she said life in prison,
so it's only natural that you would put those two, teams up against each other.
Life does not mean life,
and you have Solo invoking the name of Bray Wyatt, trying to add a personal layer to this.
In 15 years,
look, none of this is interesting to me. I'm sorry. It's fine as a mid-card feud. It does nothing for me personally. If it does for you, great. I'm happy for you. But for me, this is not doing anything. It's not inspiring me to get excited. I can't say that I'm excited to see the eventual battle between these two groups. Solo and Uncle Howdy It could be a Styles Clash match-wise. I don't really know how that's going to go. We'll all find out together. I'm not overly excited to see it, but this is what we're getting. Backstage, The Miz was bitching to Nick Aldis about not being booked for Saturday night's main event, even though, as he pointed out, I once beat John Cena at WrestleMania. And Aldis says, yes, we're well aware of this. You've mentioned it many times before. But he said not just anybody can get booked on that show, which is when Bayley walked in. Just love how all these Raw talents are just randomly showing up on SmackDown. And actually, not only are they showing up on SmackDown, but the way Bayley literally said, like, Nick got her booked. It was something like that. Like, Aldis was the one who, like, got her booked on that show. And I was like, oh, interesting. I thought she was on Raw, but okay.
This is also the game room, so
This is also where I play video games. So I'll be in the corner playing video games, and there'll be 50.
The Rumble. The World's Heavyweight. That brand that the 8 people that are employed by Fightful watch. You mean the brand that doesn't have a television show, but yet has a television title? Ah. Yeah, well, what are they doing here? As soon as he mentioned NXT, I was like, are both Ricky Saints and Obafemi going to be on this show? Cody gave the word that at Deadline tomorrow, which I will be watching, I'll probably be watching and live tweeting, that during Deadline tomorrow night, Ricky Saints will defend the NXT Championship against Obafemi, and the winner of that match tomorrow night in Dallas at Deadline will wrestle Cody Rhodes in a showcase match. No championships will be on the line. The NXT title will not be on the line. The WWE title will certainly not be on the line. The winner of that match between Saints and Femi will wrestle Cody Rhodes on December 13th in Washington, D.C. during John Cena's final show with the WWE ever. His retirement match will headline. That match will be on the undercard for that Saturday night's main event. That is a great move. That is a great move. I'm glad one of them is going to get the opportunity to be in front of that audience so that a star could be on its way to being born. And that is what this show is going to be about. This is what WWE really needs to focus on going into 2026. The future, the youth. They already got Braun Breaker. They got Dominic Mysterio. We need some more young, vibrant, just future superstars. Headlining shows. Getting out there in front of the audiences. Getting familiar with the WWE main roster audience. They need to start building for the future. Now, I was surprised when Ricky Saints actually beat Obafemi. It took 4 DDTs to do it at No Mercy, but he did it. I don't know what they got planned for either one of those guys. They're both ready for a main roster call-up. Ricky Saints is absolutely ready. I mean, he was ready before he even stepped foot in NXT. He's just in NXT because the WWE audience needs to get familiarized with who Ricky Saints is and what he's capable of. Obafemi's a product of the WWE NIL program. And he's been in the Performance Center for a few years now. He's largely been on television for the last 2.5 years. And you see the impact that he's made. Tremendous. He's got the look, he's got the size, and he's very good at what he does. Incredibly bright future for Obafemi. A lot of people thought Obafemi should have been in the tournament. A lot of people thought Obafemi should have wrestled John Cena in his final match. That's just way too much, way too soon. I can't see WWE doing something like that ever. So who wins this match? who wins this match tomorrow night? I don't know. But all I do know is that it's going to end up one of two ways. One, we'll get Cody Rhodes versus his good friend Ricky Saints. And it'll be a nice big fuck you to Tony Khan. Because we like that. We love when that happens. It really makes for a topical discussion. Cody Rhodes versus Ricky Saints is what I think WWE is going to go with. I think it's the safer match. And I think it's a match that Cody could easily get a win in, being that it would be a very competitive back and forth match with Cody eventually getting the crossroads. Safe. Now, if WWE wanted to be not safe, and WWE wanted to really kind of throw a wrench into their Sesame Street booking, Obafemi would win the NXT Championship, beat Ricky Saints, go to Washington, wrestle Cody, and beat Cody, thanks to Drew McIntyre. Cody did ask for Drew McIntyre to be reinstated. Maybe he should have thought about that before he laid down the challenge between Obafemi and Ricky Saints. It's going to be one of those two situations. Now, going back to the NXT situation, I don't see Ricky Saints beating Obafemi 2 times in a row clean. Unless the plan is to call up Obafemi. I think that match ends in a screwy finish. I think someone returns, I think someone comes back, and I think someone fucks with Obafemi. With Ricky Saints retaining. I just can't see Obafemi losing clean to Ricky Saints again. That would be ridiculous. One time is enough. That was the shock. But either one of those guys is ready for a call-up. I think WWE wants Obafemi on the main roster because I think Obafemi is going to be more of a moneymaker than Ricky Saints is on the main roster. So I think Ricky Saints stays in NXT just for a little bit. And I think Obafemi gets the call sooner rather than later. But I do think that it will be Cody versus Ricky Saints in Washington, D.C. It's the safer match. And WWE is absolutely in the mindset of keeping it simple, keeping it safe. Nothing really big ever happens on these Saturday Night Main Event shows. So, I'm going to sit here and let it play out. Because I don't really look back at what WWE's done over these Saturday Night Main Events and get a sense of adventurous. But probably go with the safest plan of action. But if Obafemi wins, I could see Drew McIntyre getting involved and Obafemi actually beating Cody Rhodes on Saturday night's main event. We gotta be in the mindset of building new stars, correct? I'd love to see that happen. And I do think that Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes is going to be a major match, championship match, I believe. We got about a month and a half to go. We got about 7 weeks. Might be a little bit too long, but I could see them doing that championship match at the Royal Rumble. We do have a Monday Night Raw on January 5th. They could do it there. Why not? Everybody else flips to the other show, so why not have that match on Monday night, January 5th, to kickstart the new year? There is a Saturday night's main event right before the Royal Rumble, too. They could very well do it there. So we don't know what's going to happen, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But that was the big thing tonight. Ricky Saints and Obafemi both on the show tonight. Major, major, major implications on their match. Tomorrow night, Ricky Saints will defend the NXT Championship against Obafemi. The winner of that match will wrestle Cody Rhodes on Saturday night's main event, December 13th in Washington, D.C., which will serve as John Cena's final match. Unbelievable. The other big thing that happened tonight was obviously the final of the tournament. Again, if WWE wanted to take risks, LA Knight would have won. It should have been LA's night tonight, for sure. They did sell you on the fact that LA Knight could very well win this match. They teased it a little bit. He did have that underdog fighting spirit, come from behind babyface mentality tonight, but it was too much. And Gunther prefaced this match before with a promo about an hour away from the top of the hour on Smackdown. And he mentioned to John Cena, I want you to pay close attention to this match. Not how or what I do to LA Knight. What I do to LA Knight's going to be the least important thing. I want you to see how I beat LA Knight. How he beat LA Knight tonight was with a modified crossface. He made LA Knight tap out tonight. And then he got into the camera at the end of the show and made a promise that not many people have ever gone out there publicly to promise, and have certainly not kept this promise. Gunther promised to make John Cena tap out in his final match. I love that. I think that's fucking great. WWE already has a sense throughout this entire tournament with 16 competitors in this tournament. WWE gave you an entire tournament, and everybody already knew the outcome before the tournament even started. As soon as you seen Gunther, and then everybody else surrounding Gunther in this tournament, you kind of pieced the puzzle together on where Gunther was going to land. He had some great matches in this tournament. He actually, all 4 of his matches were the best matches in this tournament. Gee, I can't wait to hear all the Gunther can't wrestle fucking engagement farmers on TikTok. Brain rot. You're all fucking stupid. He had a great match with Javon Evans. Till in the beginning of that. Could have been better. My favorite match in the tournament, Gunther and Carmelo Hayes. Then he had a great match with Solo Sikoa, and he had a great match with LA Knight tonight.
It's been 10 days now, and we
4 matches, 4 bangers. And now he's looking at a 5th with John Cena. The tournament was predictable. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. Dave Meltzer even predicted this, right? And how much has Dave Meltzer gotten right this year? If he was given 100 things to report on, he maybe got 2 right. And the 2 things he got right were Austin Theory being in the Vision and Gunther in John Cena's final match by winning a tournament. 3 things. He also predicted Lash Legend would be in War Games. 3 out of 100. It's not really going to get you in the starting lineup, Dave, but all you care about is being in Tony Khan's starting lineup. Clean up. We know you like to clean up. Wipe your fucking mouth. The tournament was predictable. But with this stipulation, this promise, not really a stipulation, but with this promise, he's promised to make John Cena do something that nobody in John Cena's 21-year career has been able to do. Make John Cena tap out. Cena hasn't tapped out since 2003. Who did Cena tap out to? That kind of makes it less impactful if John Cena's already tapped out. I don't think WWE would even bring that to light. Who did he tap out to?
Well, every case is different.
Ben Espinosa says Cena hasn't tapped out since 2023. I forgot that.
Not every case is intentional. Some of the cases.
I didn't even realize he tapped out.
But
I was under the impression that John Cena had never tapped out.
And a lot of people who don't do that.
He's tapped out to Angle and Benoit. Well, if there's 2 guys that you want to tap out to, you can't really get any better than Angle and Benoit. All right. So John Cena has tapped out, but it's been a very long time since John Cena's tapped out. He's going to make John Cena tap out. The importance of it is that John Cena is going to do the one thing that only 2 people in this entire company have ever made John Cena do in 20 plus years, and that is tap out. And tap out in his final match. That to me makes the overall match going in a lot less predictable. It actually makes the match more entertaining and gives it a massive dose of unpredictability. Because who thinks John Cena's going to tap out? I don't think John Cena's going to tap out. Is that the lasting image you want to see of John Cena in his final match? John Cena just lost to Dominic Mysterio. He lost the Intercontinental Championship to Dominic Mysterio in San Diego against Dom for the Intercontinental Championship at Survivor Series. Why would he lose his last match? I was going with Gunther. Before we got to this Dominic Intercontinental title nonsense, I was going to go Gunther getting the win, and Gunther going over, and Gunther being this new legend killer. But now that Cena lost to Dominic, I think it's even more of a likelihood that John Cena wins his final match. And they've only added the stipulation to give it a sense of urgency, a sense of importance. Because I don't think anybody thinks that John Cena's going to fucking tap out. There's a possibility that John Cena would lose, but I don't think if Gunther's going to focus on making John Cena tap, I think he's going to fail in those endeavors. And I think John Cena gets the AA, and I think John Cena pins Gunther 1, 2, 3, and we get a happy ending. And he rides off into the sunset. There's a lot of people that are upset that Gunther is wrestling John Cena in his final match. Fans are upset, calling it same old shit, calling it predictable Paul Levesque. There are people within WWE that don't think Gunther needs it, and that WWE could have done something better than Gunther versus Cena. John Cena's dad doesn't even think Gunther is the right final opponent for his son. It's going to be very interesting to see what WWE's got planned for the ending of this match. And being that it is Gunther, and we know how great Gunther is when it comes down to these types of matches, and we know what John Cena is capable of because we've seen it with Sammy and Cody and Logan and AJ Styles in the last 4 months, I think that this is going to be a match that John Cena is going to look back on after 20 years, and he's going to say, damn, was I proud of that. I think Cena wins. I think Cena wins on December 13th. I think Cena wins with a pinfall. I think Cena wins with an AA. And then I think Cena retires with a W. Gunther doesn't need it. If Gunther loses to John Cena, nothing happens to Gunther. He is bulletproof. At this point, with what he's done in this tournament, he's bulletproof. All he needs to do is go into the Royal Rumble and eliminate a couple of big names, set up his WrestleMania opponent, which will probably be Brock Lesnar, and then we're off to the races. And nobody will remember Gunther losing to John Cena. He's going to be a part of it. He's going to be there. He's going to be tasked with bringing John Cena to the best match of his entire year, in his final year, and then goodbye. But I think adding the promise that he's going to make John Cena tap out does make it a little bit more unpredictable. Because nobody expects John Cena in his final match to tap out. All in all, I thought SmackDown was a very good show. We had Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes. Great United States Open challenge. And we're looking at Tommaso Ciampa. We're looking at Tama Tonga. He's got some names coming after him, does Ilya Dragunov. But the latest in a string of bangers, and happy for him, Carmelo Hayes showed up. And did you guys hear that reaction for Carmelo tonight? Are you guys starting to believe 2026 is the year of him? I think so. I mean, if WWE didn't hear that and don't make the appropriate necessary moves to get him further along here, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't know what they're doing back there. Hopefully they heard it. And then Lash legend and Nia Jax want the tag team championships. Oh joy, oh joy. And we got another Jade Cargill mess. Jade Cargill has easily become the worst part of Friday Night Smackdown.
Holy shit. When you get obsessed with an idea, and you can't stop thinking about it, and you dream about it, and you wait.
It is your Friday, December 5th, 2025. Thank you guys for all of your support this week. We had a great week. Depending on what I have to do this weekend, I may get some extra videos out for you, because we got some news. Finally, we got some substantial news. So we may actually get some content out this weekend. But we're here live. We're going to talk pro wrestling tonight. We're going to talk Friday Night Smackdown and everything that happened tonight. Tonight we're sponsored and powered by Turtle Beach. TurtleBeach.com/script. Use that code SCRIPT at checkout. 10% off all of your purchases with that code SCRIPT. So make sure you guys go and you please, like Matt Hardy, delete. Guarded. That maybe 3 or 4 people know, and that's it. That's it. Why would anybody that knows Dave know that information and willingly give him that information? It's either that it's an option, or it's completely just out there, and it's something for Dave to report so that he can keep his subscriber number where it needs to be, to pretend like he's got some breaking news. Maybe it's a red herring. They want to throw the scent off of where people may think it's going. Braun Breaker should not win the Royal Rumble. Braun Breaker should win the World Heavyweight Championship. Never mind be in the Royal Rumble. The World Heavyweight Championship match is now January 5th against CM Punk. He wins it there with the help of the Masked Man, who helped them win War Games, who is Austin Theory. How are you going to pay off an angle with a man who helped you win and pin CM Punk? How would it make him look if he goes in there and Punk wins? Austin Theory isn't going to be too fondly looked at by the Vision or the fans. And he's not someone that we really need to get off on the wrong foot. I don't think Braun Breaker is winning the Royal Rumble, nor should I, or nor should he. I'm not in the Rumble. I won last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Nor should he be in discussion to win the Royal Rumble. The fact of Cody and Roman, I like the match. I do. I think a third match should happen. But not the same way that we got them at the last 2 times. I don't think that it would work that way. Nobody wants to see Roman win the WWE Championship again. Nobody wants to see Roman be a part-time champion, which is now less dates than it was then. And nobody wants to sit through that. There's got to be something else there. There's got to be a meaning to why that match is taking place. It can't just be because Roman doesn't like Cody and Cody doesn't like Roman because they have 2 massive egos and only one can exist. No, we need something more than that. The only way that would work is if Cody Rhodes goes heel. Are we looking at Cody Rhodes? Give us a heel. Run. Heel persona. Heel promo. He was very angry tonight. The only way that would work is if Cody goes heel. The only way that would work is if The Rock is going to come back. And we get what we didn't get in February. Cody selling his soul. Cody selling his soul to another member of Roman's family who is higher on the totem pole than Roman. You don't want to respect me, that's fine. You know who in your family respects me? This guy. Now comes Dwayne. He finally has his champion. John Cena clearly didn't want it. Cody turns to the dark side. Roman and Rock is the plan for Saudi Arabia. That's my prediction. If there's one match that they want, if there's one match, if there is a Rock appearance that will happen, it will happen in a match there. And then that will be it. They're paying WWE in the vicinity of $300 million for WrestleMania. They will get what they want, and The Rock will make it happen. Because The Rock is on the board of directors for TKO. They can't make their Saudi partners unhappy now, can they? The Rock may be the biggest star in Hollywood, but the Saudis have him by the balls. As do they have everybody else. That's my prediction. That is my prediction. The only way it works is if Cody goes heel. Do I think any of this happens? No. No, I don't. I'm speaking into the universe, hoping that at least some of the things that I just mentioned here in the last 5 minutes, actually, it all comes down to money. There's a brand split in place because the WWE has to answer to their television partners. USA Network wants something unique to them. Netflix wants something unique to them. And then they're left to argue who's on what show, who gets what major stars. It's exactly what happened with USA Network and Fox. The same thing is happening with USA and Peacock. Or Netflix, rather. USA Network and Netflix. I wish they just ended. The shows just feel so much better. But this is a mixed tag team match coming next week. And we'll see Rhea Ripley on Friday Night SmackDown. You'll find out real quick why no one survives the Terror Twins. Ilya Dragunov, United States Open Challenge against him. Carmelo Hayes. I don't know if this was the best match in Dragunov's United States Open Challenge, but I would say it is definitely up there for at least top 2. I think Frazier had a great one. Hayes had a great one. I think Hayes is right now sitting at number 2, in my opinion. This was a great match. And Austin, Texas tonight was very squarely behind Carmelo Hayes. Now, they got some history. Louder and louder babyface reactions. To me, he just comes off as a smug heel. But right now, they got him playing this babyface, and he is getting some really good reactions. Across the ring from him. He said he'll drop him on his head like he did all the rest. With everybody saying, L.A. Knight, yeah. Doesn't need to do anything. AEW basically made a mockery of them. Lash said that's just a taste of what they're capable of, and they're coming after the tag team championships. Chelsea Green. They showed her celebrating with her United States Championship, and then getting interrupted with Jake Cargill coming out to...
Uber Eats is bringing you
I'm
savings
gonna
on your
show y'all
favorite
Just
KFC
Allen.
snacks.
That's another podcast.
Like right now, score 40% off grocery orders at Aldi.
I know, it's a lot of bills to keep up with. I know. Don't look at me. That's Tony Khan who wants 10,000 fucking belts.
BL media. And it was exactly what I just said. Against all conventional wisdom when it comes to what you do in a situation like this where this guy's leaving, Gunther is staying.
It's a criminal use of Alba Fire. This woman was the longest reigning NXT UK Women's Champion. She had great matches over there. This woman was on NXT. She held her own on NXT here in Florida. And then she's tasked with getting in the ring and losing to Jade Cargill in 90 fucking seconds. What the fuck are we doing?
Exactly.
You know, you're going to get a lot of people blinded. You're going to get a lot of people like, oh, well, Jade. People blinded. You're going to get a lot of people blinded. You're going to get a lot of people like, oh, well, Jade, what? Jade Cargill, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 2 minutes. Because they know, just like everybody else knows, that Jade fucking sucks. Jade Cargill, all she could do is memorize 90 seconds. Do you genuinely want to see Jade Cargill wrestle any more than 5 minutes? I mean, after that 5-minute mark, I mean, it's getting dicey out there. And that's a stretch. 5 minutes is a stretch. Oh, but they're booking a dominant champion, JD. No, they're booking a champion the way that she needs to be booked because she's inadequate. That's why. Jade Cargill has quickly become some of the worst segments on Friday Night SmackDown. This title reign is already a failure. And what does it say about how WWE looks at the Secret Harvest, Chelsea Green, Alba Fire, and the United States Championship? I swear to God. My tinfoil cap is fucking tingling. Someone in that company, someone on that roster, wanted mid-card titles. They were granted mid-card titles. Someone on management didn't want the United States Championship for the women. And someone on management is letting you know exactly how they feel about the decision to make mid-card championships. I swear to God, man, that United States Championship, someone in that company fucking hates the Women's United States Championship. I just don't get it. I don't understand how it is so fucking buried. It's mind-boggling to me. Jade Cargill wins in 90 seconds with a spine buster and a big boot, and then jaded. That's all she knows.
Yeah. Waste of a
That's all she
match.
knows. You may like it. I don't.
It was
You
a
might
waste.
like it because you like the way she looks. I don't.
Me neither. It was a waste.
I would prefer my professional wrestlers to at least break a sweat out there.
Exactly.
When Jade goes out there and she looks like nothing has ever faced her, I don't find that to be entertaining. Nathan Frazier and Axiom lobbied Aldis for a match against DIY. Dragunov ran up to Aldis while he was talking to Axiom and Nathan Frazier and demanded a match against Ciampa. He realized that Ciampa had interfered against Carmelo Hayes and fucked over Carmelo Hayes, ruining the integrity of his United States Championship match. Nick Aldis said, you want him, you got him. Next week. He then told Fraxium, Dragunov did. He told Fraxium, when I'm done with him, you can have whatever scraps are left of him. He turns around and then he comes face to face with Tama Tonga. And then showed up. Behind him was Solo Sikoa and the rest of the MFTs. They're still teasing this Tama Tonga. Jade Cargill, unfortunately, we had to see her a second time. Cross paths with B-Fab. Jade asked B-Fab if she said something.
How is B-Fab doing?
No, she didn't say anything. She said, did you see what I did to Alba Fire? If you want some, don't hesitate. Michin then comes into frame with a kendo stick. I said B-Fab is her friend. a concept that Jade isn't familiar with. Jade told her to go ask Nick Aldis for a match then. Jade said she'll step up and then get stepped on. You believe that Jade beat Tiffany and we've gotten absolutely nothing? A fucking wasted time promo. A match with Alba Fire. Now a match against Mia Yim. And a United States Championship celebration that was ruined by Jade Cargill. This is what they have done with the Women's Championship.
And it's sad.
You know, for all the people that said Tiffany Stratton had a lackluster reign, I don't really hear all of you right now. Why is that? I find that very funny, huh? Tiffany had a lackluster reign, don't get me wrong, but none of you need to be sitting there telling me that Jade Cargill is deserving of this championship and that WWE is doing anything better with Jade than they did with Tiffany.
We really need Bianca. Where's Bianca Belair? She's been out way too long. When's she coming back? Is it going to be at the Rumble? I hope we set up Bianca and Jade, and I'm booking Bianca to take that title. Bianca should lead Women's Division. She's been out way too long.
It's equally as fucking awful. Solo Sikoa. He made his entrance with the MFTs. I do like their entrance, though. They all come out. They got this red and green lighting. There is no spotlight on the rest of the MFTs, but then Solo kind of walks in between them. There's two on one side, two on the other, and Solo walks in between them, and the spotlight's on him while they're all, like, in the darkness. It's a good visual. Solo's in the ring. He cuts a promo. He says, they promised to take care of Sami Zayn, and they did just that last week. He says they are ready to move on, and move on to the Wyatt Six. He says this is his ring, his show, his family tree. He said the Wyatts have to learn they can't attack them from behind and get away with it. Solo said everything that is his will soon belong to him. So when he said this, he looked up to the sky and said, whatever was Bray's will soon belong to him. He said all he has to do is believe. Yes, thank you for telling us what Bo Dallas was in a past life. The lights went out. The Wyatt showed up in the ring. Solo is in the ring, and Uncle Howdy is once again behind him, just like he was last week. And they had a stare down before a big brawl broke out. So all the Wyatt Six is battling with the MFTs until Tala Tonga and Eric Rowan are left in the ring by themselves, and they have a classic big man stare-off with the fans chanting, holy shit, holy shit. Tala Tonga's a big motherfucker, and so is Eric Rowan. Tala Tonga's got him beat by an eyelash hair in the height department. They are both monstrous men. Rowan got the best of Tala Tonga, threw him over the top rope, and that's the way the segment came to an end with the Wyatts clearing the ring. Fans enjoyed this segment. They were chanting, you fucked up, to Solo Sikoa and the MFTs. I don't know when or where we're going to get this. I don't know what is going to be on the line. I don't know what symbolism they're going to try and relay to us. Like, what does the group get? Who wins this feud? Tag Team Championships are on the Wyatt Six. Is it all about the Tag Team Championships? Solo Sikoa made a mention of the Tag Team Championships tonight. You have something that belongs to my family. Yes, they were Tag Team Champions a very long time ago. But that was because the Motor City Machine Guns and the Bloodline kind of integrated.
You fall in love, sing boom, the sky up above.
The credit cheat sheet in your pocket.
God damn it with the damn commercials.
Self can help.
we may be looking at the MFTs versus the Wyatt Six for a tag team title match sooner rather than later. It still does not get me excited.
Me neither.
The Miz was backstage in a conversation.
Well, might well end the video. I made this long enough. I don't want to make it too long. It's getting late. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. I will make more videos tomorrow. Till then, I'll see you next time.